No, podcast. I think it's fine.
Yeah. See, that's fair use.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Small Town Film Nerds. The name for the time being.
Yeah, it might change. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. We run things by committee here.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to episode 3. Today, all right. First of all, my name's Todd Leiser.
I'm Jared Rassick.
I'm Julie Furnace.
And today we're going to talk about the movie Some Kind of Heaven. If you have seen this movie, hopefully you've watched it through the Tin Pan Theater website. It is playing virtually there. And again, if you can watch the movie through the website, you support us directly. We really appreciate it.
Literally directly. Like it's as if you are holding our hands while you're watching the movie in a dark theater.
It's the closest you can get to coming inside and paying us, the movie that you regularly would at Tin Pan Theater.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is.
Just a little bit more.
Just marginally more expensive with
no popcorn. Unless you make it yourself.
But you also don't have to wear pants while you watch.
Hey,
nobody knows. Nobody knows.
I feel like it's a trade-off.
Cool. Yeah. So this movie is a documentary, came out 2020, so pretty recent, brand new. This is the way we're watching movies these days is we're getting sort of a slow stream, a slow drip of things.
Yeah.
Just kind of online every now and then. We don't know what's coming out. But this is a movie that we are playing through the website. For anyone who's just listening in just because they're curious. This documentary follows a couple of people at the Villages in Florida, the world's largest retirement community. This is definitely a subject matter I think most people are at least somewhat familiar with. Like usually this retirement community, the Villages, I think is moderately well known. I feel like a lot of people know what it is.
I had never heard of it.
Oh, you never heard of it?
I had never heard of it before this movie. And
interesting.
When they said that it had like 100,000 people in it or whatever, I was blown away.
Oh boy!
Like I can't imagine.
Well, I think we think of South Florida as the place of retirement villages, right?
Yeah,
retirement
sure.
communities. I mean, these communities are everywhere, but this one is called the Disney World of retirement communities.
Yeah.
So.
And why is that? Why do they call it the Disney World of retirement?
Because of its size, first of all,
right.
and because it's considered a fantasy land.
Right. Because it has everything.
It has everything.
Yeah. Movie theaters, restaurants, the golf courses, mini golf courses.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. There's a shot in the movie because everybody drives golf carts everywhere. Yep. There's a shot of an overpass going over the freeway, and the overpass is specifically for the Villages.
That's right.
For the golf carts to drive over the freeway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just staggering. It's staggering.
That gives you an idea of how big this place is.
Yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
I will admit that I feel like I've been familiar with this place just through, I don't know, maybe just various news stories sometimes done about the Villages or human interest stories sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it represents the idealized, or it's often presented as being a representation of the idealized retirement community for a lot of people.
Right.
Especially because there is a very common experience of people retiring to Florida. That is many Americans often do. And so I think I was familiar with this retirement community a little bit. But I think it had always been through the lens of this, like always through the lens of sort of like this is where baby boomers specifically are often ending up. I'm pretty sure it has a very large Jewish community in the Villages, and so I will say that I was not initially interested, just face value in this movie at first.
Sure.
But I do think there's some interesting stuff here, especially because this movie focuses on the storylines of about 4 different people and does get into a little bit of their lives, and it definitely there's enough human interest here, I think, to keep things interesting.
For sure. And we should mention the executive producer on this film is Darren Aronofsky, and we would have a ton to say about this if we had more time. Also, I do want to give a shout out to another executive producer. His name is Andrew Blau. Andrew and I worked on a film together, a Robin Williams film. called 1 Hour Photo back in the day. Also produced by Christine Vachon, who was the Bendfilm Festival Indie Woman of the Year in 2019. Anyway, why would Darren? What would his interest be in doing this?
Because it was the requiem for a dream of retired Floridian movies.
I mean, I'm just
honestly, I think there's a lot to be said about. I think Darren Aronofsky he's a New Yorker. He's a part of in the Jewish community. I think there is a reason that he's probably interested in, especially letting the director Lance Oppenheim. Lance Oppenheim's he's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
He's a young guy making this movie about retirees, and I think, because this movie is also produced through the New York Times, I think this movie almost has a anthropological perspective in a way.
Yeah, sure.
And I was reminded of a book I read in college years ago. I can't remember the name of the book or who wrote it, but there was a anthropology study done in the 80s by an anthropologist who, she was a Jewish woman from New York, and she was one of the first people who thought, most anthropology is about studying other cultures. Why can't I just study my own? And she actually looked at Jewish retirement communities in New York, and it was one of the first big instances of an anthropologist actually looking in at their own community and realizing, one day I will be an old Jewish woman in a retirement community, so now I'm going to study this community. Yeah. And so I think maybe Aronofsky's interest and Lance Oppenheim's interest might be along similar lines.
And Oppenheim is from Florida, right?
Okay.
I believe I looked it up, and he is Floridian. So I wonder if he did exactly that. Looked at that community
sure.
Hey, if I retire here in Florida, is this what my life is going to be like?
Well, and let's look at it as if this was a traditional documentary where they were following these people around and just the daily lives of this couple and this woman and this widow and this, we'd be kind of bored.
Right.
Okay. I mean, let's face it, but they honed in on 4 or 5 characters.
Right.
And it was super intense.
It was.
And everything else was very posed and very, there's this, I mean, everything, I was just shocked. I'm like, is this really a retirement community? These people are living.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then these characters this is sad. This is really sad.
What's the, I don't know it off the top of my head, but isn't there a giant percentage of, I don't.
Go for it.
I'm going to say it. Isn't there a giant percentage of people in those kind of retirement communities that get sexually transmitted diseases? Because it's I don't want to say
possible.
It's like Bang City, USA, but it's a little bit
I mean,
we're gonna golf, we're gonna eat our hard candy, and we're gonna rock one out.
Yeah, there's some definitely have been some reporting on some communities in South Florida, some retirement communities, of single, widowed, older retirees who are not careful.
Right.
I mean, and the movie doesn't exactly touch on that, but
no,
the characters that the movie does follow are there's a character who is dirtbagging, essentially, living out of his van in his community. There's another character who is having a drug problem and has to go to court because of it. Right. This movie is following the most interesting characters it can find.
Really
sure.
I would have loved to see the casting process in this, where Lance narrowed it down to these 4. I mean, obviously, Reggie, because he did cocaine. He was doing cocaine.
Yeah.
And then,
and then at his court appointment, he talks back to the judge.
Oh my gosh.
The judge is you're literally, I've dealt with murderers and rapists.
And you're the rudest person
I've ever met.
And his poor wife. And then, and then we've got Anne, who,
all of the shots, the way that they shot her was there was okay, visually this movie is there's a almost painterly quality to it. All these shots, they're locked down on a tripod. It's also in that 4:3 aspect ratio, so the whole movie has this very framed quality to it. So you don't get the sense that this movie, the movie is not an objective point of view. It is a subjective point of view for sure, which every documentary is
ultimately, yeah.
But this movie is definitely framing its characters through a specific lens, that's almost almost like dreamlike in a way.
Yeah.
Which I think is reflective of the community itself. This idea of like, and the movie is also interested in what is the line between fantasy and reality.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately, this movie is framing this question of retirees come here, this place that's supposed to be like the Disneyland,
Fantasyland.
Yeah, and what are the actual realities of these characters?
Right.
And that's why we follow characters who don't have the best time.
Look at we talked about this a little bit, Julie and I, earlier today, but we'll get into it here in a bit. But the thing that fascinated me, I think, the most in Dennis. In Dennis's story,
he's the dirtbagger.
Is that
also dirtbagging means living out of one thing,
and he's a fugitive.
And he's a fugitive in California. The thing that made his arc in that movie so haunting to me is that you have this story about all of these people who've worked really hard their whole lives to make the money in order to live in this community.
Yeah.
And when we meet Dennis, he is on the outside of this community, desperate to get into it.
Yeah.
And then he finally gets into it and doesn't want it. And I mean, there's a shot, and I want to get into this a little bit because the film is shot like a narrative.
It is
not
absolutely.
shot like
I was thinking about the Florida Project a lot when I was thinking about this movie. Also Dinah, which also played at Tin Pan, I think maybe a year or two ago.
Okay.
Was another movie I was thinking of. Just visually, it shares a lot with those two movies.
The shot of him he's finally allowed in. He met a woman that lives in
his ex-girlfriend or whoever it is.
That lives in the community.
Yeah.
So the shot is of him in one of the golf carts, driving down the road, and the camera pulls back, and we see the water tower letting us know that he's in the community.
Yeah.
It's such a cinematic moment. Yeah. And to me, it gave the movie such a beautiful. It felt beautiful watching it. I felt constantly emotional watching it. Simultaneously, I felt like documentaries shouldn't be this pretty.
No, yeah, I get that because it does not use the cinema verite style at all. There's like a few brief moments where you realize it's handheld because they are capturing something that just happened right there.
Right.
But usually it seems like everything is set up.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of planning.
Absolutely.
Those shots are so meticulously composed.
Yes. And you're going to sit in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Your cat or dog is going to be on the counter with you eating the dog food. How sad is that?
Yeah.
And then, you're going to be watching a video on your iPad of your dead husband.
Your dead husband. Or Dennis, who's 81 years old, finally has a house. So the first thing he does is he's sitting at the kitchen table without a shirt, smoking a cigar, talking to his mother.
Yeah.
Being like, I'm a DJ, I'm super living that Hollywood life.
Yeah.
Also, the way that he doesn't open a window, but he just sprays sprays
Febreze afterwards. But it's like the moments that it captures are poetic and are beautiful.
Absolutely.
But simultaneously, you're like, I don't believe you could create such a meticulous shot and capture reality. Like this took you an hour to do this setup. One of the moments we were talking about was at the end when I'm sorry, what's the widow's name? Anne has a crush on Jimmy Buffett Parrot Head, and he's more sprightly than she is, and he's kind of handsome and dashing a little bit, I guess. And she goes to one of his Parrot Head things and sees him dancing with another woman. And there is literally a 3/4 of a second long shot of seeing the pain in her face watching him dance with someone else.
Yeah, we get that shot, reverse shot.
Yeah, and so it's like, how did that get captured naturally?
It's hard to know whether they captured these shots just because they were there, or did they just shoot so much that they finally got that when they needed to?
Yeah, tons of footage. Had to be tons and tons of footage to put this together. And
boring ass footage.
Well,
boring ass footage.
I mean, I'm sure all documentaries are made that way.
Yeah,
like 400 hours.
And so does does that tell us maybe that Lance is moving into narrative? Like, does he
I am
want
sure.
to be a narrative director at some point? I mean,
one thing I read about Lance Oppenheim is that apparently he has submitted a whole bunch of stuff to the New York Times over the last couple of years, and there's a quote that says, "I was politely declined, but met in these times."
Okay.
And so, but this is his first full length documentary. I think he's made a few documentary shorts.
He has,
but I am sure that he sees this as a stepping stone.
Calling card, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because it really felt like a narrative.
Oh yeah,
100%.
It has the look. Yeah.
I had to look about halfway through the film. I had to look it up to make sure that it wasn't. I really did.
That makes sense.
There's a shot in the movie where we're learning that Dennis is unhappy now that he's finally got a home.
Yep.
And he's starting to feel that drive for freedom. So there's a close up of his face. And then a reverse shot looking up at the ceiling fan that he's looking at. Yeah. And I was like, you're shooting this like Apocalypse Now? Like, it's a documentary. Like, but I can't complain about it because it was incredibly captivating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just,
honestly, again, I will say, as soon as the movie started and like, I saw the aspect ratio it was shot in, I was like, oh, you are making a deliberate choice with the way this movie's framed, the perspective of it.
Sure.
Like, it has a look.
Yeah, it definitely has a look. It definitely has, it was put together very, very well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I saw that 82-minute runtime, and I was like, oh, thank God. Just from knowing what the story was.
Sure.
But then it rocketed by.
It really did.
It's
I was very interested in these people, and I wanted to see. I was so hoping for a happy ending. Mm-hmm. No pun intended, but I didn't get one.
But they were like, that's the thing is I think they were all meant to feel like hopeful, happy endings, but they weren't.
Yeah. And so where does that leave? Where does that leave the audience?
That leave life?
Yeah.
I had like a little mini existential crisis watching that movie.
I think again, the movie is about investigating that line, but the blur between fantasy and reality.
Yeah.
Again, the fact that this retirement community is built with the idea of being, your ultimate retire home, a step towards heaven, God's waiting room.
So happy, not happy.
Yeah, and again, so with the fact that we were following characters who they are having problems and struggles, and in some cases spiraling out of control, I think the ultimate point of the movie is, we can try to achieve this idea, this fantasy, but really, like, we're all human still to the day we die. Like, we're all still gonna have these foibles.
Do you think it would have been an interesting counterpoint to have one of the characters that they followed in the film love it there and be totally perfectly happy and content?
Perhaps, there should have been maybe a contrast. There was a contrast character. There was not a contrast character where they were like, everything's perfect. Yeah.
This is what I wanted to retire
exactly how
for.
I wanted to to end up.
I know. To me, that would just be communicate that that's like a talking point or that's selling the fantasy. I don't know if I necessarily want it to be sold the fantasy.
But at the same time, there does have to be someone there that is super with their husband of 40 or 50 years and they're living their best life, having the ultimate golden age. But don't get me wrong, the movie isn't lesser for not having it, but it would have been nice to see someone appreciating that area in a way the three main characters weren't.
Well, and those group photos of all the clubs. I think that was our contrast, right?
True.
Like the cheerleaders.
And those were the shots that were immaculately framed.
Immaculately framed, immaculately done. That was our contrast. They're happy.
Right.
They're loving it.
Totally.
They're happy. Mm-hmm. Why aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts on this film?
I mean,
it's
like you said, it goes quick. It's engaging. It's, almost an expose on these, Fantasyland retirement communities in South Florida that we know about, but we don't really know about.
Totally.
We're so far away from this.
It's a nice peek behind the door.
It really is. We're on the West Coast here, this is where I'm going to retire.
Right.
I don't know anything about that.
I think this movie's worth watching because the stories that get told through these four characters that we follow are fascinating for sure. I think also, I know my parents are in their mid-70s. Like, this is like the that's the age range that we're sort of looking at. So it is interesting, again, to look at sort of the baby boomers and get this dissection of where they're at and the kind of things that are being sold to them. Yeah, and it's a fascinating look.
It really is, and it's very different because, I mean, a lot of times documentaries, especially documentaries that are getting the size of release that this one is, like for Magnolia, are usually kind of... I'm trying to think what that movie was from, like...
Oh, I didn't know that was going to make a noise.
It's all good. We had a timer, so we didn't talk too long.
But we're wrapping up. It's cool.
Yeah. A lot of something Young at Heart, I think. Mm-hmm. There's these documentaries that are specifically manipulated to be views of retirement and growing old that are just all sunshine and roses, that are uplifting and inspiring and this and that. And I got to tell you, there wasn't an uplifting or inspiring moment in the entire movie. It was I found it like existentially depressing, like a very sad movie. These people are profoundly unhappy in a way that won't be fixed before they die.
Right.
Like they are going to grow. They are going to die with these same issues that they have in this movie. And ultimately, that's a very nihilist. It's kind of a nihilistic movie, I felt.
To some extent.
Because the moments of happiness that they find in the end really are barely noticeable as victories. It's just tiny little bits of happiness.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, and from me watching so many mockumentaries, like those are my kind of favorite, but
I do love it.
Yeah, I mean, Christopher Guest, like
totally
the mockumentary, but they're funny because they really are making fun of even the art of making documentaries, the way that documentaries are made.
Right. Totally right.
This was not funny.
No, not even a little bit. I mean, there was a couple like humor, if you like a little bit of Schadenfreude or a little bit of like Wes Anderson-y pathos, also funny moments, like like him spraying the breeze smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Anne's blue eyeshadow was wonderful.
It's tinged in so much sadness. Like, this is not an uplifting movie to watch. It wrecked me for the night, like legit wrecked.
Okay.
Well, everyone, it's available to watch on our website, so please go ahead and do that.
I like being wrecked, so I'm fine with it.
I mean, you did say last week that you want to feel something at the very least when you watch it.
Good or bad, make me feel something.
And you know what? Honestly, this is what narratives do a different kind of wrecking than documentaries. Because with narrative, you walk away and go, "Oh, that wasn't real." Okay,
right.
I can't. But this is real. Mm-hmm. And so the way it wrecks you, that stays with you. And that is the power of documentaries.
Yeah. All right, should we jump into our most anticipated movies of 2021? We can just keep going if you want.
Yeah.
Actually, let's take a break.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Hey everyone, it's Todd here, and I hope you enjoyed our discussion of Some Kind of Heaven, and I hope you're interested in hearing about the movies we're looking forward to for the rest of the year after the break. That's going to come right up. I just want to give you a few quick updates about things that are happening at Tin Pan Theater and with Bendfilm. We have a few films coming soon to watch virtually at tinpantheater.com. These include Two of Us and Glitch in the Matrix, both of which will be available this Friday, February the 5th. We're also going to open up Minari, which is the new A24 film that has Steven Yeun in it. That's going to come up on Friday the 12th, the following Friday. Tickets for Minari will be available this Monday, February 8th. And if you want to find all the films that are available to watch on our website, click on the virtual Tin Pan link at the top of tinpantheater.com. We're probably going to be talking about most of these movies in coming episodes, so I hope you'll watch them. And again, if you want to support us directly, watching movies through our website is one of the best ways to do that. We're still doing ski films in the alleyway in downtown Bend this winter on Thursdays and Friday nights at 6:30 p.m. We're also raffling off a brand new pair of skis from Crow's Feet for the next month. So if you would like to get in on that, you can come in person to any one of our ski nights and purchase some raffle tickets. Again, that's going to happen for a couple of weeks, so if you want to get these skis, you've got a few weeks to do that. We're also going to open up the theater for private events again. This is going to be in a very limited capacity. Again, maybe only like 5 people or so. I think there's a lot of couples that are pretty interested, so maybe you just want to do just 2 people. But if you want to do that, you can find the link to inquire about that at Tin Pan Rentals. That's going to be the link at the very top of the tinpantheater.com homepage, and it's going to be right next to that virtual Tin Pan link as well. Lastly, if you can consider donating, that's one of the best ways to help us going through this time when, we don't have a lot of movies to release. So yeah, if you like what we're doing and you want to contribute, please, you can go to bendfilmmembership.eventive.org/donate. Again, that's bendfilmmembership.eventive.org/donate, and you can choose whatever amount that you can to donate to us. That's also, I think, around the same place you can sign up for a membership if you want to do that as well. Anyway, those are just a few of the updates, everybody, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. Thanks so much.
Dun, 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 dun. It's the Dark Knight theme.
Podcast. No, I ruin everything.
And we're back.
We're back.
Now we're going to be talking about the things we're looking forward to in 2021. And it's a weird year. We don't know. Things could change. Dates will change. How they come out, who knows?
Things keep changing. If you're looking at, your Regal app or your AMC app, or speaking of AMC, that almost went bankrupt and just got bailed out. Stocks were low, stocks were high. What's going on?
Did Musk bail him out? Is that what I heard?
Elon Musk?
Yeah, because he just bought GameStop.
Oh,
and their stock went up to their GameStop stock quadrupled.
Okay.
It's like $70.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
think it's 70.
I have opinions on Elon Musk that I do not want to get into.
Yeah.
So, reintroducing ourselves, I'm Julie Furness.
I'm Todd Leiser.
I'm Jared Rassin.
If you're just tuning in, we are about to talk about our anticipated movies of 2021, whether they're going to be released streaming and streaming sites like Netflix, HBO Max, Amazon Prime,
VOD in general.
VOD.
A lot of it's kind of just a guess at this point, though, too.
Yeah, but hopefully we can, give you some insight as to what we think you should look out for.
Yeah.
Julie, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. So, here is what my usual routine is at the beginning of the year. I get up super early to listen to the Oscar nominations.
Mm-hmm.
I watch the Oscars, and then I close the door on the year,
the previous year
behind me. Mm-hmm. Yes. And then I open up a site like Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb or any of my favorite sites, and I go, all right, what's coming out this year? Because I try really hard not to look ahead too far ahead. Okay. Right. But I want to know, and since I'm in the know, then I start to get really excited, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to see this one at home. I'm going to see this one at the Tin Pan. Right. I'm going to see this one at Regal.
Right.
I'm going to see this one at,
You're planning it all out.
Yeah. Yep. So I plan it all out. And, since we don't know, I'm just going to tell you that, let's say for the next couple months, I'm probably going to do a lot of heavy Netflixing again. Right. Okay.
Sure.
2020 was the year of Netflix, in my opinion. So
Netflix in particular, or just streaming in general?
Netflix in particular. Okay. I was, yeah. So, what I can tell you, what I'm excited about initially, is one that you had mentioned, Todd Leiser, was Judas and the Black Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
And did you say that was HBO Max, or was that still up in the air?
It's a Warner Brothers release, so it is going to get the double release of HBO Max and some theaters.
Okay.
Is it 30 days?
30 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So this whole double release thing is another podcast altogether, about the streaming versus theatrical. Warner Brothers putting their whole schedule of 2021 on HBO Max. These lawsuits that are happening. That is a whole other subject. But I am excited for this film.
Mm-hmm.
And because we don't have a ton of time, I just want to run through my list and tell you that I would be okay with seeing that one at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That one I'm not, I don't need to, wait for a theater. Nomadland, I am really excited. I will watch Frances McDormand in anything.
Totally.
And that's going to be Hulu.
That is going to be Hulu. Yep. All right.
Soon, right? Like within the next couple of weeks.
Very
right?
soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I do have to throw in Coming to America.
Nice.
I do have to throw that one in because the first one is easily in my top 50. And I'm super excited to see Arsenio Hall back in a movie, and I love these two. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say Godzilla versus Kong.
Nice.
But I will tell you, I will not see that one at home. I will need to see that one in a theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
except that's another Warner Brothers.
Yep. It is
ACO, right?
It is. So the closest to theater experience I can get is probably going to be at home on my 70-inch 4K television. So
you and a lot of people probably.
Yeah. Black Widow, we were just talking about. That's super up in the air. Yeah. Regal is listing that now as their first opening film. They've pushed back their opening date in Bend anyway, to May 7th. We could probably place bets on that one to see if that's even going to happen.
Yeah.
Of course, a Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it looks
just
fun.
because it's fun, and I feel like So summer's a totally different thing for me. That's when I really go to the theater is the summertime.
Yeah.
The big ones. The big Regals. So that's when we get our onslaught of Marvel films and Disney and so.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is on my list here. I am looking forward to. I had forgotten that Venom was coming out. I had forgotten about that. So when I was making my list and I saw that, I'm like, oh, Venom. Okay, yes, of course. I am waiting for that. Minions: The Rise of Gru. I'm super excited about because that's one that I can take the kids to.
Totally.
I'm really excited about that.
So it's the second Minions movie?
It's the third Minions movie, I believe. Yeah. I'm still on the fence about Top Gun because I have my own issues with Tom Cruise.
We just have to wait and see.
Isn't it like an interesting director?
Oh no, yeah. It's
Kaczynski.
Kaczynski who did Tron.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jungle Cruise, of course. We've been waiting for that one for quite some time.
That one's on my list.
That's
okay.
Really interesting director.
Oh yeah. Right? And also the combination of Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yes, yeah.
I feel like I waited my whole life for that.
Right. Suicide Squad, another entire. We could do a whole episode on that. And then we're getting into the fall and the holiday season where we're gonna see things like the remake of Candyman. Why not? Okay, why not?
Yeah.
Jordan Peele's producing it, so
yeah, he is.
And it's the guy that played Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen show.
Yeah.
Spoilers for a show that's a year old.
It's a year old.
Yeah. That's all right. Quiet Place Part 2. Come on, guys.
Dude,
that's on my list.
I feel like I've been waiting for that movie the longest.
Seriously, John Krasinski cannot do any wrong in my eyes. And so just also another huge surprise was we all thought Dune was coming out next Christmas. They've moved it back to October 1st. So is that going to be the big one for the theaters?
I mean, Denis Villeneuve himself said that when Warner Brothers decided to move all their movies to HBO Max, he said, this has killed the Dune franchise. So, look, I'm going to be brief. That is my most excited movie that I'm looking forward to this year. I don't know if it will be the big thing I was hoping for. I feel like I just can't say anything specific because I don't know. I don't know whether that movie. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm going to enjoy watching it, but I don't know the impact that it's going to have anymore.
Yeah.
It's just so up in the air.
Yeah, and honestly, I'll throw it over to you, Todd, because looking at, I was just searching for something to be excited about for Christmas time, and honestly, I'm just not. I'm sorry. I want to be. I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan that everybody knows that right now. And The French Dispatch, that's the one I've been waiting for.
Totally.
And I think 2021 is going to be Timothée Chalamet's year.
Totally.
So I will throw it over to you.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'll go through my stuff real fast. I think the beginning of this year definitely has a couple movies that are going to be competing in for the 2020 Oscars, because the Oscars are happening later this year. So that's sort of like a weird limbo period. And I would put Judas and the Black Messiah, Minari, One Night in Miami, Nomadland, and The Father. I think those all look interesting, and I'm curious to see what they're like. As far as some like the bigger movies later in the year, I think the Marvel movie I'm most excited about is Shang-Chi. Definitely excited to see what they do with that. I usually enjoy all the Marvel movies, so I mean every time one of them does something different, usually pretty excited. Very excited for The Green Knight with Dev Patel.
Can't wait.
Last year it was going to be A24's biggest release ever. Really want to see what that movie turns out to be like. Also going to put Death on the Nile, just because I'm a big Agatha Christie fan. That's sort of just me being a nerd about that. Quiet Place 2, we said that already. Dune, is definitely my biggest movie. No Time to Die, just because I'm a James Bond fan. The Last Duel, which is Ridley Scott's next movie. I believe has Matt Damon in it. Excited to see what that turns out, because I'm always curious what Ridley Scott does.
I think he's underrated. I still do. He's made like 5 of the biggest movies ever made.
Of directors his age, he's the one I like the most.
Yeah, and the fact that he just never stops working, like
he has made some of my all-time favorite movies. So I'm always curious what Ridley Scott does.
He keeps doing it over and over again.
Lastly, I would say maybe Last Night in Soho, which is Edgar Wright's next movie.
Ooh, that was on my list.
Yeah. Also, Don't Look Up from Adam McKay.
It was also on my list.
Bringing it very good.
I'll fight you later. Are we gonna fight? Let's fight.
Maybe.
Let's fight later.
Okay. Last 3. Mission Impossible 7, because that series doesn't seem to slow down, and curious just what it's gonna keep doing. Nightmare Alley, which is Guillermo del Toro's next movie. And Matrix 4, because
Matrix 4. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, that's my list.
Guillermo del Toro is also doing Pinocchio too.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. All right.
Jared.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay, so I'm hyped on the new Park Chan-wook, which is called Decision to Leave.
I did not realize Park Chan-wook
It's and it's like I think it's an erotic thriller in the vein of like Basic Instinct-y, slivery kind of thing.
He also did The Handmaiden, right?
Yeah, which talk about an erotic thriller.
That's like one of his movies I still haven't seen.
Blossoms Shanghai is the new Wong Kar-wai, who I am obsessed with. 3,000 Years of Longing is the new George Miller.
That's right. Yeah, with Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton, right?
Yep. That's going to be a good one. I am extremely hyped on The Card Counter, which is the new movie by Paul Schrader. I think First Reformed is one of the best movies of the last 50 years. And it's Oscar Isaac, Willem Dafoe, Tiffany Haddish, Ty Sheridan. Like, it's got
stacked cast.
Yeah, super legit cast. Prisoners of the Ghostland is Nicolas Cage, Nick Cassavetes, Sofia Boutella. Like,
interesting.
It's an insane samurai thriller thing.
You got me at samurai.
Looks bonkers. The new M. Night Shyamalan is called Old, and it's got Gael Garcia Bernal and Thomasin McKenzie in it.
Love Gael Garcia Bernal.
Oh yeah,
a little excited for that one. I'm also excited for Blonde, which is the new Andrew Dominik film. I think Andrew Dominik is currently the most underrated filmmaker working in Hollywood. Killing Them Softly, Assassination of Jesse James, Chopper, like those are 3 perfect movies. I don't know, and just to show you how different my opinion is on the majority, Killing Them Softly has the lowest audience score on Rotten Tomatoes of any other movie ever, and I think it's a masterpiece. Dune, really excited for. The Northman, I am way too excited for. It's the new Robert Eggers film.
That's right. Oh, I forgot about that one.
Set in Iceland at the turn of the 10th century.
Yeah, Alexander Skarsgård.
It's Skarsgård, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicole Kidman, Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, Bjork.
And honestly, Robert Eggers is one of the most exciting directors working today.
For sure.
Yeah. The Lighthouse and The Witch.
Yeah,
just insane. The Many Saints of Newark, I'm a little excited about because it's a prequel to The Sopranos, and it's Alan Taylor doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious where that's going to go. And I believe it's James Gandolfini's son that's starring in it.
I think you're right. Yeah, he plays the young Tony Soprano.
I'm really hyped on Army of the Dead, which is this giant $125 million zombie outbreak movie. Takes place in Los Angeles, but the cast is insane. It's Dave Bautista, Amari Hardwick, Garrett Dillahunt. It just Tig Notaro. Like, it's
I love Tig. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the plot is that a group of bank robbers try to rob a bank during a zombie outbreak.
Yeah, exactly. In Las Vegas.
It's gonna be. And it's Eli Roth, I think, directing it.
It's Zack Snyder.
Oh, Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I believe Eli Roth is he's doing something. And then genre-wise, because I'm an unrepentant fanboy, I can't wait for the next Fast and the Furious movie because it's got Justin Lin coming back to the director's chair.
That's right.
And he directed 5,
4 through 6.
Yeah, 4 through 6, and 5 is my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
So
5 is the one that everyone agrees.
It's not Tokyo Drift.
No, Tokyo Drift is my second least favorite.
That was Lynn's first. Actually, Lynn did Tokyo Drift through 6. Yeah.
I'm really excited for. Oh gosh, I have. Deep Water, which is the new Adrian Lyne movie. He hasn't directed a movie, I think, since this is the guy who did Jacob's Ladder and Fatal Attraction and Flashdance and 9.5 Weeks, and so this is his first movie in a long time. Deep Water. It's Ben Affleck, Ana de Armas, Tracy Letts. Just a kind of an interesting cast. Really, really excited for the next Ben Wheatley movie, which is a post-apocalyptic flick called In the Earth.
Do you love Ben Wheatley?
Yeah, he doesn't mess around. And finally, I think I'm almost unreasonably excited for the next Conjuring movie because I don't think any of the movies that take place in the Conjuring universe have been bad. Some have been better than others, but ultimately, if you're building a connected universe like Marvel, James Wan knows what he's doing. Like, he really does.
And, I think James Wan, I think, is one of the bravest directors working.
He really is. He's fearless. And if you look at Aquaman, there's nothing in that movie that would make you think
Aquaman is a buck wild movie.
Dude, it really is.
It's nonstop.
It really is.
Nonstop.
No one mentioned Masters of the Universe.
Oh my god. And I'm also really excited for the Batman. I think Matt Reeves I think his Planet of the Apes movies are kind of masterpieces.
And also I've heard that his Batman is supposed to be a detective movie.
I
really like
it's going to be very different.
And I'm excited for the new Beverly Hills Cop. And I'm excited for the relaunch of Blade, which I think might have slipped back into development hell again.
Well, just real quick, I don't know if there was. All I know about Marvel and Blade is that they want Mahershala Ali to play Blade, but I don't know if they ever actually got a movie started going.
Okay. I think that might be the last thing I heard about it. And they're also relaunching the Hellraiser franchise, which I have been a fan of those movies since I was a kid, and it's directed by the guy that did The Ritual, which I thought was probably the scariest direct-to-Netflix movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, so I've heard good things about them.
I think. But yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. And it's
almost too much because think about it, a lot of 2020 slate
got pushed
moved into 2021, and my head is exploding. And this is why I couldn't narrow it down very
I agree
easily. And that's why looking too far ahead to fall and holidays of this year is too much. My brain is
and everything will change. Honestly,
it will. And hopefully we'll have a mid-year episode where we can discuss this further for longer going into Oscar season for next year.
Totally. Yeah. It's really hard to predict exactly what of the movies that we've named we're actually going to see this year.
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely.
Well, I think that wraps up our episode. Thanks for listening, everybody. Let's see, what are the things to mention? We're doing ski nights in the alleyways these days. That's one piece of event that we can depend on.
Yep.
Also, if you can donate, there's a link that we'll put in the description. Also, if I can remember the URL, I believe it is benfilmmembership.eventive.org/donate.
Good job.
Oh, thank you. You can also become a member if you'd like to. Also, please like, subscribe, and comment through whatever format you're listening to. Please come and support Tin Pan Theater if you can.
Yeah, we love being here, and we
will
all
be
of
here
you.
for you.
Yeah, we
in
are.
some capacity.
Yeah, we will not give you COVID.
We will not give you COVID.
Please don't give us COVID.
We're working hard to make sure that no one gets COVID.
Yeah. COVID free since 03.
COVID free. All right. My name's Todd Leiser.
I'm Julie Furness.
And I'm Jared Rassick.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
You're
Bye-bye.
handsome.